Dear Bach friends, I'm delighted to be sitting next to Peter Harvey, one of our favorite basses. He will be performing tomorrow actually the Bach cantata WW 82, Ich habe genug, or Genug, as the old original cantata text says. I'm supposing you will sing Genug.
Well, it's something we have yet to discuss,
okay.
Rudy and I. I have to find out whether it feels sensible to modern German ears. As an English person, I can't have a view, but we'll see.
You've been performing with the Bach Foundation for several years now. You have also sung the Friede sei mit dir, which is a cantata, by the way, Rudolf Lutz, our artistic director, composed a sinfonia. This cantata, the Friede sei mit dir, has also some connections. At least it sounds very strongly like Ich habe genug. Although the Friede sei mit dir is all about being certain about your own resurrection. And Ich habe genug is about passing away, actually. Do you think there are any connections between both cantatas?
Well, definitely there are cantatas, there are similarities. They're both based on the idea of Simeon, the song of Simeon, who takes farewell of the world. And whether it's a direct quotation of Simeon's words or ideas, so many of the religious texts from this period are concerned with death, and with 21st century eyes, it looks almost as though this was an attempt to make friends with death. Death was around everybody, it was ever present. Just look at the mortality statistics. This was not something which was strange and separated from normal life. And Bach returns again and again to the theme.
Bist du so betrübt, da dich doch Gott durch Christum liebt? Selber spricht zu dir, der Friede sei mit dir.
And the sort of comparison I think you're asking me to draw is, I would sum it up by saying that Ich hab genug seems to me very human. It talks about the human desire not to be afraid of death, to make a friend of death, and to find consolation in that thought, whether it's about one's own future death or, one can't help feeling, as a way of seeing the death of people, loved ones and people around one. Going back to Der Friede sei mit dir, as you say, it has this theological certainty. Welt ade, world, goodbye. That comes up in the last aria in Ich habe genug, but it seems central to Der Friede sei mit dir that he's thinking beyond the grave to the world to come. And if I had to make the comparison, I would say that Ich habe genug is thinking about the death to come, and doesn't quite, to the same extent, look beyond that boundary.
And of course the middle recitative of the Friede sei mit dir actually mentions Simeon.
Indeed, yes.
Literally.
As does Ich habe genug.
Exactly.
Yes,
Exactly.
they do.
Well, Ich habe genug is of course one of Bach's best known cantatas, certainly for the bass. I'm sure you have sung it many times.
I have.
I'm sure. Now, as many of our viewers know, our concert format is rather special because we perform one single cantata in one single concert. We do it up twice. And in between there is this so-called reflection lecture on the cantata text. But you still have to perform it twice. Now, how do you feel about performing such a difficult piece twice on a single evening?
I'm looking forward to it. I don't expect that it will be difficult, let's say, from a technical point of view, because there are other pieces I can think of which, to me, for me at least, with my voice, make considerably greater vocal demands. So it's not a piece which stretches the voice or works it hard in a way that is at all aggressive on the voice, and I don't think that's going to be a problem. I can think of various operatic singing, which is much harder on the voice. So it'll be what it is. But I'm looking forward to exploring the same music twice, and that's always very interesting because you have a chance to do things slightly differently. Perhaps the slight tensions in the first run through have settled during the reflection, and then one can approach it anew with perhaps a little bit taking a few more risks, or perhaps going further in the dynamics, confident that the players will follow. So it can be a very nice experience, and one we very rarely have.
Well, that's, I think, rather unique. I don't think, also for the audience, it's very rare that you get an opportunity to listen to a Bach cantata perform at such high level twice on an evening. I'm particularly looking forward to the Schlummer Ari, what we call the Schlummer Ari. I don't know how you name that in English.
Schlummert ein.
Schlummert ein.
We use the German.
Wonderfully peaceful and warm aria, rondo in E-flat major, which reminds me strongly of the closing chorale of the St. John Passion, which you, of course, are performing with us next month. So you will be returning back to Switzerland, I think, quite soon.
Quite soon,
yes. 2 weeks, perhaps. Yes. To perform the role of Jesus. How do you see Jesus in the context of the John Passion? Is he portrayed or performed as a peaceful and lyric character, or rather vivid and disputatious?
That's a really interesting question, because it's the question that I put to myself every time I sing it, because on the page and from the way it's written, one can quite easily slip into singing Christ as being very disputatious, and he is an uncomfortable person to deal with, and the danger is that he can become, the risk is that he could become a bit unlovable. And so in the Matthew Passion it's easier. You have the weary sort of pity for Peter when he says, "Truly I tell you," and he's pitying the people who are going to betray him. In the St. John Passion, it's so much to do with his almost aggressive responses, that he pushes people away, he doesn't draw them in. When I'm singing exchanges with Pilate, I think so often I find myself thinking of the modern day politician's response. that a politician will be asked a question and they will answer a slightly different one.
Right.
And Christ in this role does that a lot. He answers a question with a question. He answers a slightly different question. The ground shifts slightly, and it gives him the opportunity to get under Pilate's skin in particular, and subtly working on this tetchy bureaucrat. Suddenly he finds that things aren't as certain as he thought they were. And that's very interesting to play that. Over the years I've found that one can do it in a way that it presses and creates doubts, but it doesn't have to be aggressive at all.
Right. That's fascinating.
Maybe it'll be different, but that's what I try to do.
We will see. We have 3 performances coming up in St. Gallen, Zurich and Schaffhausen in May, and then of course a recording which will be then be released next year. So lots of things coming up. It's, as always, great having you here.
Okay.
Very much looking forward. Thank you very much for talking to us today.
It was a pleasure.